I feel great after the class. That was just a strength training for upper body. And I've been focusing a lot more on building muscle strength for longevity-wise, especially for women's health. So that was a great class. I feel energized and ready to go.
Welcome to Move, Sweat, Discover, the podcast where fitness meets self-discovery. My name is Avi, and today we have fitness trainer Janice Ng, certified in degree fitness, NASM, and Pulsar Pilates, a legacy ambassador for Lululemon, founder of aTool and fitness method AbsFocus, recognized by Tatler as one of the 10 best female personal trainers. Janice's work has been featured internationally from luxury wellness spaces like Yun Wellness, Island Shangri-La, Rosewood, to global stores of Lululemon across Hong Kong, New York, and London. Janice, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have you here. We've known each other for a little while now, but not super well. We were ambassadors for Lululemon, sorry, at the same time.
Yeah, never mind.
And I remember my first impressions of you, like always kind of being a little bit, how do I say this? I would always like admired you and what you were doing. Because, you know, back then you were working in the boutiques. We were actually working in the same boutique studio.
Yeah.
And you were teaching your AbsFocus classes. And I remember thinking and speaking to a lot of my friends about this, like, this girl has this cool, like, workout brand, and you know, it was like I loved the aesthetics, and you had a following. And I remember thinking, like, talking to my friends, like, you know, thinking like, oh, what could my niche be? What can our, you know, what can we do that kind of like resonates with people? So I always had that in my head as someone that you're someone that I kind of look up to.
You're so sweet.
So I kind of like, obviously fitness, not obviously, but fitness wasn't your first kind of calling. So take me back to the beginning. How did you get your start in fitness?
My start in fitness was way back when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
Long time
That's
ago.
young.
Yeah, super young. I would say how I got into fitness was starting from ballet.
Okay.
It's an interesting story because when I was 5, I was basically raised in a household where we focused a lot on academics. And my mom specifically just want to make sure we get in a good school.
Yeah.
We have all the extracurricular activities to be very like a highly competitive person to get into a good college.
Yeah.
So that's how it started, where one of the extracurricular activities was taekwondo and also actually some classes in drawing, which I am completely bad at. But it's funny because in that building, after the drawing classes, there's this ballet studio next door. And then when I was around 4, I always saw these like pretty girls in their tutu came out within the studio. And I told my mom, hey, I want to do ballet classes. And then my mom just thought that, what a joke. Like, this idea will fade a year later. But I was like hammering her like, no, I want to go to ballet classes.
Yeah.
So when I was 5, my mom finally put me in ballet school. And so that's how it started my ballet journey. But at the same time, my mom also wants us, me and my older sister, to learn to be able to self-defense. Right. So we did taekwondo as well.
Okay.
So since I was 5, throughout the decade, we did, I did ballet.
Yeah.
And my sister and I did taekwondo.
Yeah.
So I would say that's more of a introduction to fitness.
Yeah.
But I never thought it as like, okay, this is fitness. But it's more like, okay, this is part of my life. I love to move, and yeah.
Okay. But then you went off to, you know, UCLA, and you did your studies, you know, very kind of different industry or like area to what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, so we just focus a lot on our studies. And but in high school, I've done a lot of track and field.
Yeah.
I've always been very sporty. I would say I have that sports genes more than the brainy or athletic genes. I mean, like the academic genes. But after like college, I studied communications.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, what can I do with this degree? And I thought, okay, maybe PR, because I didn't want to be a lawyer. Never cared much about the side of like legal system and stuff. So I just thought, okay, communications, like media, writing, storytelling, that's something that I love so much
Okay.
that I got myself into like one of the global PR agencies in Hong Kong. But I stayed there for, well, half a year as an intern and then another half a year as full time. And then I just decided that I can't see myself working in this environment, and I don't feel like I can be one of the manager or higher level executive in this company. So I just thought, okay, let me figure out my life later and see what I would want to do.
Yeah. How did those earlier experiences with like movement kind of shape your approach to how you kind of approach fitness today?
I love this question because I didn't realize how movement has changed my life, or in the background, it has really helped me focus until I started working. Because once I started working, I actually did not work out at all. I did not put health as my priority when I was like after I graduated and then started working in a corporate environment. It was more like because I was so stressed that all I wanted to do after work was to go home and sleep. And like I wish I had this community, or I wish I was surrounded by people like you who are hosting these really nice, fun, vibrant community events that I'm sure that would have like improved my life so much more. And I was able to stay in a competitive work environment still. So to answer your question, movement has definitely helped with my mental health without me realizing it, because movement has always been part of my life until I stopped. And then I thought, well, I guess that's like not midlife crisis. I was only 21 when I was fixing that mental health block and all that. But I realized that because the lack of movement, I wasn't able to be the best version of myself.
So where did you pick movement back up again?
So it's not until I joined Lululemon. So after I left the corporate job, I was feeling lost and I wasn't sure where I wanted to go. And I looked up online free Lululemon yoga class. And that was 8 years ago. And there were only showrooms in Hong Kong, so no stores. So I stumbled upon this Lululemon showroom in Causeway Bay. And I found this this yoga class that I really liked, led by a Lululemon ambassador. And from there, the wonderful team of two asked if I wanted to join them for part-time. And I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do with my life, so why not for part-time? And because of Lululemon, it got me into more like community reach outs and being involved in the community. Really have this amazing positive, like vibrant community that sucks you in and go to different studios to work out. And it was honestly the best time.
That's so curious that you started working with the team, and then kind of almost a full circle moment, you became an ambassador.
Yeah, it is a full circle. And we both know Loretta. Actually, Loretta is one of the OGs that witnessed this whole full circle. And it's like, it gets me really emotional because I still remember my mental state. Back then, when I was working at Lululemon, I was still feeling lost. Wasn't sure what to do. And had a lot of my own personal baggage that I had to deal with that she witnessed, or people around us, like during that time, and witnessed like this whole transformation for 10 years. How big of like a life shift it is. And then a lot of the growth that I got was really from Lululemon, working there, and then understanding how they built the culture, the team, and then the brand values behind it. And it has such a huge impact on how I built Absolute Focus.
I want to stay on the Lululemon track for a little bit. People always ask me, how did you become an ambassador? And I don't know about you, but I can't quite honestly like give a concrete answer because, it's not like you apply.
Mhm.
It's not like, I don't know. Like it's just for me, it was such a natural thing. Like I met someone in Lulu that worked for the store. Then, like we just hung out and then I went to like some couple of their events. And then like one day they were just like in one of my classes appearing with these signs,
Oh, so
asking me to
cute.
be an ambassador kind of thing. So it's almost like a blur. So I kind of want to ask you how did you become an ambassador? How did you build that relationship with them? And also what do you think it has done for your career and like even personally moving forwards?
Similar answer. There's not a concrete like apply because I remember someone asking me, "How do I apply to become a Lululemon ambassador?" And I said, "You don't. You just focus on your work and love what you do.
Yeah.
And one day, if you really think that this brand aligns with you, or they see that alignment with you, and that would happen."
Yeah.
But at the same time, it sounds like, are you not telling us a secret?
Yeah.
There's no answer to it. There's no way. But I would say really like that's what I love about Lululemon. That they care mostly about how you connect with people, and
Yeah.
then they prioritize authenticity. And authenticity is not something that you can lie. And I think when Lululemon like community sees that, this is who you are and this is how you connect with people, and they feel that, okay, you're really part of the Lululemon culture,
Yeah.
then that happened. So
Yeah.
I would say I've always had the relationship with Lululemon because I started working there,
Yeah.
and then I left, I think, after 2 years
Okay.
because a Lululemon ambassador at this boutique studio asked if I wanted to teach. And I thought, well,
Okay.
teaching actually feels more of my calling than working in a retail store.
Yeah. So at that stage, had you kind of already studied and trained like some of these certificates?
Yeah, the
Okay.
reason why they figure out that I'm into, well, the Lululemon ambassador figure out that I'm into teaching is because I enrolled myself in NASM course. And that was a time where I started studying.
Yeah.
I haven't passed the exam, but I was studying it. And also I was hosting these bootcamp classes.
Okay.
And that is actually the OG AbsFocus bootcamp class at Taylor Park. So that's how it started. So that was 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen this photo. You've shown me this photo recently,
Yeah.
actually. So
Yeah.
can you kind of share a little bit more about the whole birth of AbsFocus and how that came about?
Yeah. It was a really, again, like emotional and really like close to my heart story where I remember when I was working on the floor at Lululemon at IFC store, my friend Christine asked, oh, so because I was already hosting a lot of like bootcamp classes for Lululemon staff. And I asked her, well, there are so many bootcamp classes out there. How can I differentiate myself from the rest?
Yeah.
And then she said, why don't you teach us how to get your abs? Because a lot of people always comment on my abs. And I thought, okay, great idea. Let me figure it out. But at the same time, I didn't specifically train my abs to have my abs. I think it's throughout my years of ballet when I was young. I know how to activate my core naturally, the posture and everything. And so I thought, okay, I'll whip up something.
Yeah.
So it became more of like a bootcamp style abs focused workout until later on it evolved into different style due to the setting, like in a studio. And then I changed it to a mat format.
Yeah. So what is AbsFocus exactly for those people out there listening that don't know?
AbsFocus is a Pilates inspired abs workout driven by music. Love the music. So the movements are to the beat. And it's more about sculpting the core and then working on the core endurance and also for like balance and sports performance.
Yeah. How did you come up with it all? The brand,
the
AbsFocus.
brand.
Yeah.
So I've always known that I wanted to have my own website,
Okay.
and it was more like, huh, everyone was vlogging back then.
Mm.
It must be really cool to have a website. And then I just had that idea. And then because of my friend that asked if I wanted to teach abs, and then I thought, great idea. And at the same time, arriving to that moment where I felt a lot better in my mental health,
Mm.
and how I got there was about being present in the moment and learning for a fact that happiness is in the present moment. So I was like, huh, maybe I'll call it absolute focus. And it happened to tie into the workout method,
Yeah.
AbsFocus.
Yeah.
And so it's absfocus.com ever since.
Okay. I love it. And you've kind of gained a whole following over the years with this method. Like, was that your intention at the beginning? How did you make the connections with people? You know, because building community can be quite difficult. And I feel like maybe even when when we first kind of connected at that boutique studio, community wasn't necessarily as big a buzzword as it is now. So, like, how did you kind of like connect with all of your fans, shall I say?
I would say whatever I do, I really focus on the present. And that's also a lesson I've learned
Mm.
getting out of my anxiety or depression issues back then.
Yeah.
So that's why, to answer your question, I've never had the angle in mind, actually. I really just show up, focus on what I do, and show up 110%,
Yeah.
and then see what comes along.
Mhm.
Till this day, I'm like that too. But in terms of really setting a goal, and for example, if I have intentionally like want to focus on building a community, the answer is no. The community formed itself. What I did was more like, well, I'm such a nerd, actually. No one really sees that from social media, but I'm such a nerd. Like, I just love spending a lot of hours focusing on what I love doing, or focus on what I'm good at.
Yeah.
So all my focus was, okay, how can I make my apps workout method a lot better? Or constantly every day, I was honestly pumping um, 60 hours a month teaching the same thing. And then always every hour I will be switched on, like doing everything, like observing the crowd, how they respond to my movements, or coming up with new movements and see how they respond. And then it's really like trial and error life, seeing people's response, and then refining my method to a point where I'm like, yeah, this is set. Like, I can do this all the time. People still feel the workout's effectiveness. And then I just make it like a system. But it took me 2 years. I never put a deadline to it, because I feel like I wouldn't say, oh, it's an art form or anything, but it sounded like one, because I feel like you would know when you see people's results or see people's response to your workout.
Yeah.
And then at that time, you'll be like, okay, I think this is set. I don't need to like think about new things or improve it or any way. Just stick to it and then build a system around it.
What do you think were some of the challenges that you faced in building the brand?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's really humbling. And I've always thought that till this day, I feel like I'm only good at building the brand stuff, or I know visually what I want my brand to look like, or it's more like the storytelling part where I told you in the beginning that I love. It's more about sharing my journey, sharing like my vulnerability, or sharing my experiences, basically just my way to connect with people authentically. So I never thought that, okay, it's brand is like a business, but it's more like brand is storytelling.
Yeah.
It's really getting people to know the essence of you. And for me, I personally like the approach of branding not just like the aesthetics or fluff, but more like the meaning behind it. Or when people approach your brand, I hope people approach it in a way that resonate to their life stage, or how my brand evoke their emotions or feelings, connectedness,
Yeah.
but less so, wow, Jenna's ads are cool. But at the same time, that's also how I want it to showcase my brand, because we all need that little bit of, ooh, that's cute. Like,
Yes.
that little thing. Like if it's so boring, people, you won't evoke any response anyway. But because of that, that's the whole brand's essence, is for people to have that gateway response, like, oh, abs, I want that. But then they get to come to class and understand more of the meaning behind it, or why I started it,
Yeah.
and what it's for. And it's so beautiful, because that's how the community started. Eventually, they understand that AbsFocus is not just for the physical element, but it's more about their mental health and emotional well-being.
Yeah.
And my greatest satisfaction of building my brand is that people open up to me and share what they're going through. And it shows a lot of trust and respect, and that I'm really grateful for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people that might have some body image issues, and something like that, obviously it's in the name, abs focus,
Yeah.
might be triggering to them? What would you say to those kind of people?
I am very fully aware of it. And I also openly admit that I've never experienced eating disorder or
Yep.
these part of struggles. So it's hard for me to relate completely around this topic. But at the same time, I'm really aware of sometimes like people would share that, oh, like their issues with eating or their image, how they look. But I think because how strong my values are behind the brand, it kind of buffer the part where it's just aesthetics.
Yeah.
Because if they've come to my class, they know that it's not just about how they look, it's really like how they feel. Like, do they feel stronger, or do they feel the difference in their core strength? And most of the time they would feel the burn right away.
Yeah.
And I think that just takes their focus out of that. But of course, body image is such a delicate issue. And
Yeah.
like, bless those people who are going through that, because it's not easy to deal with these issues.
Yeah. We all have struggles, and you mentioned earlier a few times that you've kind of had your own and had some issues around anxiety. How has movement played a part in kind of digging you out of those situations?
So I would say movement is great, especially when you have stuck energy in your body. And I remember when I was in New York, I went to a class, and it was more about like, it's like sculpting movements, but a little bit more like jumping jacks or just jumping movements.
Yeah.
And they would also scream in class. So at one point, I had this idea that no one's doing it in Hong Kong. I really want to teach something like that. It's so like releasing. Like, I feel like a lot of us have stuck emotions, and a lot of us don't want to face our emotions at all. And then that is like a great approach to really like clear out that tension in your body.
Yeah.
But I would say really like the movement and being aware that where the stuck energy is in your body is like, that's what movement is all about for me, to really clear my body and feel alive, and then feel like in touch of the reality, or like in the present moment. And that's what movement means to me.
Yeah. I suffer quite a bit actually from anxiety, and like I am the biggest advocate of moving. There are times when I can I know that a workout will relatively sort me out in the short term, kind of thing. I'll feel better at the end of it. But there are times where I've done a workout and I'll leave the class or I'll leave, the gym or whatever, feeling more anxious than I've gone into the gym or into the class. So then I've kind of delved into medication. And I'm not a huge advocate of it, just because I would prefer to have a natural, more organic process of handling my anxiety. But medication is great.
I love that you're talking about this because I have so much to say about around this topic as well that I never got to talk about.
Yeah. Have you had experience with taking anti-anxiety meds?
Yeah, antidepressants, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't been taking it since for I think 8 years.
Okay.
But when I got into it, and it's also like a huge part of towards building my brand, AbsFocus. So I started getting into antidepressants around like when I was 22 or 23. I'm 33 now. So back then I was working at the corporate job, and it has nothing to do with that company. I love that company. It's really my own struggle.
Sure.
FYI.
Yeah.
But I was dealing with my own like personal baggage or like personal identity issue. And I remember that day that I looked up online and then looked for psychologists and psychiatrists. I remember like during lunch break, I was at this really like busy hallway, this big building where I worked at. And I was just staring out at the window. I was like, I need help. I can't get out of this stress, or like I don't feel like myself, and basically I feel shit,
Yeah.
And then I looked up online and I just wanted to talk to someone. And my first appointment was with a psychiatrist. And little did I know that psychiatrists give you drugs.
Yeah.
They listen for maybe 15 to 30 minutes, and then they're like, here's your serotonin level, and this is what you need to take.
Yeah.
And while I was in a really vulnerable state, I was like, just get me out of this. Let me have some Lexapro or something.
Yeah.
And I was on meds for 6 months actually. Well, it's not ideal. It's more so because my parents have never been have not been supportive of us taking drugs. It's constantly on the back of my mind. And also I was working in a PR agency, which doesn't pay well. And so I couldn't keep up with the meds, the cost of the medications. So I just thought, okay, let me just pull the plug. I can do it.
Yeah.
But during that process of going to the psychiatrist, talking to a psychologist, really played a huge role of who I am today too. Because if I didn't go through that journey of trying out the medication, feeling that I was taking these, I forgot what it's called, but it's supposed to calm you down. Just slipped my mind. Calm you down, but then I just feel like, like physiologically, I feel calm, but I feel like a zombie at the same time.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I just didn't like that feeling.
Yeah.
And I was prescribed with Ritalin, and I didn't realize I had ADHD. But then the moment that I realized I had ADHD, I just felt like a huge burden off my shoulders.
Yeah.
I was like, no wonder I struggled so much in school.
Yeah.
And there's less of this guilt and pressure towards my own performance or how I compare myself with others, always feeling like I'm not the smartest in the class.
Yeah.
I would need to work twice as hard as others to achieve what I want. And because of the whole narrative has kind of changed or shifted, and maybe there's more like a biological factor, this reason for me to think that, okay, I don't have issues. I just have this condition that I need to look at. It's just changed the perspective of your own self-worth as well.
Yeah.
And so that's why I would say to now, like medication, some people do need the medication. Some people need the tools to get to a state that they might need to feel okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for me, what has changed mostly is the journey and understanding the story I tell myself,
Mm.
and also what it means to be healthy.
Yeah. How did you shift that mindset then?
It's actually meditation, but medication.
Meditation is medication.
Exactly. Um, I really wish the medication, the SSRI medication works for me.
Mm.
Well, I remember on top of the SSRI medication, I also did a lot of workouts with the Lululemon team because I was on and off the medication. I changed environment, work environment, worked at Lululemon, supposed to be like a nicer, relaxing, positive community.
Yeah.
And then I still had these struggles. So it's like a me thing now, it's not
Mhm.
like the environment. And I remember that feeling of aesthetic, like, is not the same high
Mm.
as how I experienced in meditation.
Mm.
So that's why meditation is really something that healed me. And I personally really am so glad that I did the 10-day Vipassana
Oh, okay.
meditation. So
Yeah.
Vipassana is the meditation that I did the first time, and it has changed my life since.
Did you just dive into that cold? I mean, so for people that don't know, Vipassana is it 10 days
Silent retreat.
silent retreat,
Yeah.
where you don't say anything at all. Can you speak to yourself?
Oh, for sure. I think that's
I
the
talk to
only.
myself. I talk to myself a lot.
I love that we talk about this. If you put me in a room, well, not in a meditation center, but if I'm at home, I would be
Yeah.
talking to myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, meditation center, well, you won't end up speaking out loud. But
Okay.
then the voice in your head is so loud
Mm.
that you feel that,
Yeah.
did I just speak out loud?
Yeah. So you jumped straight into it, like.
Yeah, so prior to Vipassana, I've only done maybe less than an hour of meditation.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Which I think is great. And I think that's most people's entry point, right?
yeah, but then after I finished the meditation and when I got out of the Vipassana and I looked at the whole program again, and I realized they said, it's recommended that you have at least an hour of meditation seating before you sign up for the course.
Mm.
And I'm glad I didn't read the whole full program details. I wouldn't have signed up otherwise.
Yeah.
Because that was when I was 24 that I got into Vipassana because I was at such a low state
Mm.
that I just thought I just want 10 days alone.
Okay.
I just want 10 days away from my family, from everyone. I just want to escape from this world.
Yeah.
And then during that time, Eat, Pray, Love was such a popular movie.
Yeah.
That's how I actually learned about silent retreats.
Okay.
And then that also always has been like fascinating to me. So I just decided to look up online again and looked up free meditation silent retreat.
Yeah.
And then there was Vipassana.
Yeah.
And it was in Shanshui in Hong Kong back then. The facility now, that opened like 3 years ago, so much better. It's on Lantau Island, but back then it was in Shanshui. And when I arrived, it was literally green, rusty metal gates. That's your entrance.
Yeah.
And then when I showed up, I was like, wow, I'm so glad I didn't read the descriptions or research further into this meditation center. Otherwise, I wouldn't have showed up.
Yeah.
Because my thought was like, well, I'm really putting myself in prison.
Yeah.
But it's insane. Like, I really treasure that time. It was painful, but it really changed my life. And because of that, I dedicated my life to doing it every year.
Okay.
But I stopped since COVID, but I'm ready to go back.
How many times have you done it now?
4.
So you've been silent for 40 days.
No.
40 days? No, it's
not
30.
in one go. They do have like a 30-day silent retreat. It's
Okay.
crazy. I don't think I would ever want to do that, but I've done it 4 times. So every time is 10 days, and I
Okay.
do it every year
Right.
as a check-in.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your takeaways from, I guess, overall, those
I think for someone who has never done meditation and don't understand why it's life-changing, I would say the simplest way to describe it is you're finally focusing on your breath again,
Mm.
and then you're connected to yourself again.
Yeah.
And that's why you're able to feel yourself again.
Mm.
And that's such a powerful shift for me.
Yeah. With meditation, do you do guided meditation or?
So the meditation was guided in a way that the method was taught, where the teacher Goenka, SN Goenka, it's all taped basically. It's global as well. So basically, from his teaching, he will guide us where to focus to breathe.
Mm.
So the first day would be a very entry level, like focusing on this sensation here
Yeah.
between the top of the nose and the upper lip, and then just feeling this patch when you breathe in and out, and then see what kind of sensation there is.
Yeah.
And that's it. And from there, bit by bit, it's kind of like a body scan meditation.
Yeah.
So the meditation starts off with his guidance, and then an hour of silence, and then you're just tuning into yourself and then breathing through and body scanning.
Mm.
So basically, it's not a guided meditation.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, it's incredible that you've done that. I so much respect. I don't know that I could do something like that, but I listen to guided meditation tracks daily in the morning and at night. But I don't feel that I'm like meditating for some reason. I sometimes I'll trail off and I come back to my breath, but I just don't like it. And I know that it makes me feel better, but I don't feel like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have this misconception around meditation.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone just thinks that, oh, these Buddhist monks, they must be able to meditate and not think about anything. They're just in a Zen state. But the fact is, we are constantly bombarded by our thoughts.
Yes.
And that's normal. And that's part of the meditation process, actually, to be able to observe all these thoughts without responding or reacting to them.
Yeah.
And then that's the practice. And I would say because of that practice in the Vipassana, that got me more insights into knowing that these thoughts just come and go.
Yeah.
And how you respond to it is your choice.
Yeah. Yeah. So for someone who's kind of gone through their own struggles, what advice would you give to someone that has the anxiety, that, has that back chat, that, is struggling a little bit?
Yeah. Meditation is tough to get into if there's no support system, or especially when someone's in a dark place, you're feeling that anxiety, like it's such a difficult space to reach out. Yeah. Especially the part where it's so hard to reach out to anyone. So there are always the simplest things. What is to really center yourself by how you actually, they say that you cannot use your mind to change your mind. You can use your breath to change your mind.
Yeah.
So, but what if you're not even aware of your breathing and stuff? Our breathing patterns are actually quite inconsistent if we pay attention. But what if someone who's not even paying attention to her breathing, right? So the easiest way is to maybe hold a really hot water or cold water. Like you can start with your physiology. Like you can start with something like some pain or tapping or something that just wakes up your body or fire up your neurons. And cold shower. But I would really way that cold shower works. But at the same time, where you're in a funk and you just want to stay in bed, how do you even pull yourself out of, get yourself out of bed and get into a cold shower? So I would say breath work.
Yeah.
If anyone can do anything, like breath work is so easy to follow and so easy to do.
Yeah.
Like box breathing is the easiest one. Is it the 4 count inhale? 4 count hold and then 4 count exhale
Yeah.
and then hold at the bottom for
Yeah.
4 counts. And also, like, whoever is out there listening who's going through these struggles, you are not alone.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we're in this stage, this era where we openly talk about mental health. Because back then, when I was going through these mental health issues 10 years ago, I just felt so alone. And
Yeah.
I just thought that I'm the only one who's having these
Yeah.
issues. But now that it's more of an inclusive environment and that we talk about it and I just love it. And then wellness and health and mental health are also topics that people are willing to talk about or have
Yeah.
more like investments into building these businesses around it. And
Absolutely.
it's really nice to hear. And there's so many different platforms to
Yeah.
help people with mental health issues as well.
Yeah. I think that's you've hit the nail on the head. That's one of the things that has helped me in terms of managing my anxiety is talking about it. Even when I'm the most uncomfortable, I will not force myself, but like when I'll lean into like sharing with close people, with
Yeah.
relative strangers, with the podcast community.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to talk about going through struggles. And so for me, I think that's really been a big thing, because to know that people are supportive, that there are shoulders that you can cry on and like people that you can lean on in these times. So yeah, I absolutely resonate with all that you've kind of just said. What do you do for your workouts? So you obviously you do your own kind of like
Right.
you've done your
My
own
abs
method.
maintenance.
Yeah. Like, but what is your relationship with movement these days? I know what you do. So.
Yeah. I'm like, where to start? I do a lot. It's an interesting phase of my life because recently I have been looking into learning to embrace rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah. I
So
hear you.
currently, well, on top of teaching AbsFocus, my full-time job, I'm also training for High Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear, I said, after this women's doubles, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then there it went, the second one. And then after that, mixed doubles. And then, okay, women's singles open. And that should be it. And then now I'm doing mixed doubles in 3 weeks.
So how many times have you done High Rocks now?
4. Wait, 1, 2, 3. It will be my 4th one.
Okay.
No, I've done 4 already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so this will be your 5th one.
5th one.
Okay.
And I swear, I'm going back to Vipassana. Don't tempt me to do anything related to IROX anymore. But yeah, my training routine now is really prepping myself for High Rocks.
Sure.
Which
Okay.
entails 1 long distance run, which is around 8 to 10K. And then 1 would be track training, interval training, and at least 2 to 3 strength trainings a week.
Yeah.
And then I try to do more like sauna and cold plunge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the rest going for you?
My rest is, I feel the most rested if I sleep. Like some people could just not, like just take a rest day, like not work out.
Yeah.
And then it seems like they're fine.
Yeah.
But for me, I actually need at least 15 hours.
Do you
to
actually
recover.
rest on your rest day, or are you doing like active recovery, like a light 5K run?
Oh, right. I'm not that kind of person. Let's just not be obnoxious. I wish I'm like that. But my rest is really sleeping.
Okay.
And I really treasure deep sleep.
Yeah.
If I could really have that luxury to have that deep sleep. Because sometimes when I train so hard, like my muscles are tense up.
Yeah.
I can't really relax and sleep that well. So yeah.
Let's talk about High Rocks for a second more. We talked off mic yesterday about the competitiveness, our competitiveness, and also the kind of expectations or expectations of us as trainers that like we're going to be podium placers, and all this kind of expectation that people have on trainers. Speak to me a little bit about that. Like, how does that make you feel?
I might not be making the most correct judgment, but a lot of the people on the podium are actually not trainers.
Yeah.
At least the community that I know that I'm good friends with. They are impressive. Like, they're amazing. They have a full-time job. They sit almost like 8 to 10 hours a day. And they are like beasts. Like, they run so fast and they have that power to push through the race. Trainers, well, of course, close friends of mine as well. Like, they're really strong there. Like, in the gym, that's their whole career. They're able to do that. And on top of that, they would be teaching like spin classes.
Yeah.
Insane. So what's the question again?
Well, just like the kind of expectation that people have on trainers, like the kind of, I'd say
the pressure.
The pressure, and like it's almost like putting you up on a pedestal kind of thing.
Yeah. I would just say that I did not perform well for my women's opens, and I was openly I openly shared that too on my story, that how much I struggled. And it's like I like these races because it just showed you what you're capable of or what others are capable of. And it's kind of like a reality check, and also feeling inspired by others. I think these things that gave me that pressure that we spoke like yesterday off mic is that we have this concept or these ideals of ourselves as trainers, and we should be good at this because we're in this industry. Like, we have more accessibility and time to gyms. For sure, we should perform well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't have to be. Like, you can be really good at teaching. You can be really good at coaching. And that's completely different from those who are high performers on these races.
Yeah.
And some high performers might not be as great as a coach as you. So there are different ways to approach it.
Yeah.
I think it's really like what we tell ourselves, and also, of course, like, some people might be like, yo, he's so fit or she's so fit and she's running a 5 pace. That's so slow. That, like, anyone can say anything. Or it could be like people who are stars on podium, and they got shit about saying how they're just born with these talents. Like, they don't work that hard. Like,
that would be me.
Just let them talk.
Yeah.
But I do, for sure, like, personally feel the pressure as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fit. I got 6 packs. I can crush this race. But I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, it's a whole different kind of...
It's so different. Yeah.
Another kind of expectation I feel that is put on trainers is that the next step in your journey, your career, is to open your own space, to open your own gym. Has that been ever a thought of yours or dream of yours? And if so...
I love this question because I feel like I'm generalizing things, but I think that a lot of trainers have their dream to have their own studio.
Yeah.
And also, it feels like it's like a milestone to achieve a studio of your own. I personally have, when I started aTool, I've always been so inspired by the studios around me. And I'm such the brand girl. Like, I see more of the vision, like more of the, oh, it's going to look nice, or like how I feel and all that stuff. But when you are in the business for a longer time, you get to understand the business models behind it and understand the reality of these margins in the studios. And you just have to adapt and to understand the bigger picture for your own life. Like, for me, I think this is such a good question because it really reflects a lot on the person when they decide to open their studio or not, you know, like, because you need to hit these big questions for yourself. Like, is profitability important to you?
Mm.
Or what does opening a studio mean to you? Or what does having a business mean to you and why do you want to start it?
Yeah.
Or is having a studio honest question, like to make you look good, feel good, or is it for the community? Or it could be for both, right? Like you could look great and then you can also serve the community. So like for me, I decided not to have my own studio unless I hit certain criterias that I think it's the time to open one.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's not like I have abundant capital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. No one has abundant capital, but it's not the way that I want to invest my money in.
Yeah.
And also even, for example, in the ideal world, maybe I could have backers and have backers to invest in my business and open a studio, a gorgeous space. But is this really what I want? Like,
Is that what you want? I'm asking.
Manifesting now.
I'm asking.
I would love that, but it only would make sense or I won't feel the pressure if it's profitable.
Yeah.
And in most cases, I really don't know. And in what kind of systems in a business model in such tight margins in the fitness studio or wellness space that could actually make it possible.
And
but
you have such strong branding, and I think that the product and the workout is super strong that I definitely think that I can definitely see it in that in a space.
Want to be my partner?
Yeah. And I can see like merch, I can see all this stuff. So I mean, I do hope for you that this little manifesting mini session here becomes a reality. What do you think of the fitness scene currently in Hong Kong? The group fitness scene in Hong Kong.
The group fitness scene specifically. I'm more skewed towards the Pilates scene, so I can only have my say on what I observe in that area. I would say Pilates is very important for longevity reasons, but currently the situation is more trend focus, where there are a lot of different Pilates studios out there, but I wish there are a lot more higher qualified Pilates teachers teaching Pilates. And also at the same time, it's actually a beautiful thing to see how we all want to move. We're encouraging everyone to do like Pilates or movement-based exercises, and it doesn't have to be like HIIT trainings. Because back in the day, 10 years ago, it could be P90X or something really like intense like HIIT trainings. Now there are hierarchies on the other fitness sector, but for Pilates, it's nice because it introduced many people to really get into learning how to move and getting to know what Pilates is.
Yeah. We did, speaking of group fitness, we did a workout yesterday, an upper body strength workout at BFT. And I was talking with you yesterday saying that I'm a firm believer, a big believer in that you learn a lot about yourself when you work out and learn a lot about others. What did you learn about yourself in yesterday's session?
Yesterday's session was more strength-based. And I am really in this chapter, and thanks to Hyrox, actually, because of that, I have to focus on building strength and muscle endurance.
Yeah.
So I've been lifting. And I do feel really great after a strength session because I'm so used to the cardio-based movement since I was young, since I was 5, right? And learning how to slow down and be okay with like lifting like heavy and then just maybe 4 to 5 reps.
Yeah.
And then only maybe how many 6 exercises yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's good. Like, and then you just show up, do what you can, and then just step back and let the magic work itself. Honestly, let the muscles recover, repair, and then those stronger muscle fibers. And as a woman, I learned to understand the importance of building muscles as well. And muscle is actually an indicator of longevity. That's something that all women actually need to focus and prioritize, especially past 30 or in their 30s as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that from yesterday.
Yeah.
We have worked out a couple times, but I don't really remember. So yesterday was key for me. I learned about you yesterday that you're a perfectionist.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. Like you mentioned your form a couple of times after a few of the sets. And I feel that like when someone is really particular about their form in the gym, it kind of tells you a lot about like them as a person. So I feel like you're super disciplined and detail orientated. Not just in lifting, but I feel like in life too. So you're the type to do things the right way. Not
I
the
didn't know it's a personality test yesterday. No wonder we all have a movement session before the podcast.
So I think it shows a lot of patience as well. As you kind of just hit on just now. And thinking that you get like the progress comes from consistency. So it's not just like piling on the heavy weights like a maniac. And honestly, I kind of says that you respect your body and you want to keep it moving for the long haul. So probably means that you take the time and careful approach to things rather than just like rush into things. That's what I learned about you
Good at
yesterday.
this. You should do this more. This is fun. This should be your side or like, like business during personality tests over training people.
Well, this is 19 or 18 episodes in, so I've kind of got an eye for it now. In that same vein from yesterday, what did you learn about me?
Oh,
You don't have to.
I did not do a cross-examination on you. I've known you for a while, right? Like on and off. It's been like 8 years or so.
It's been 8 years.
Actually.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, ever since like you're in this industry, started teaching and all that. I think there's this groundedness in you compared to many years ago. And you're serious? Nah.
I'm just kidding.
It could be.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and no, I really like it because you showed up on time and you're prepared, you're ready. And because some people would flake or some people would just show up late.
Yeah.
I think I showed up late yesterday. The usual. Yeah, you're there ready, respectful, listening to the trainers and it's amazing where have you trained at BFT before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, yesterday after we trained and then there were already 2 people like came up to you and say, "Hey, why are you here? Oh, good to see you." Such a superstar.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love movement and I love the group fitness setting. I like working out with people. Even though like I don't know, like I wouldn't particularly talk to people during the class. I'm very focused.
Oh, me too.
It's just like going to the cinema. I don't talk to people in the cinema. Once I sat down in the seat, I'm like, I don't know you. Stop talking to me. So this is the same thing in class, really. I mean, we spoke because there was quite a lot of downtime in between the sets. But I'm very serious when it comes to my workouts.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But yeah. We're gonna wrap up, but I'm gonna throw a bunch of quick go-to questions to you. So don't think too much about them.
Okay.
We start with, as always, with your go-to sweat.
Pilates.
Okay. A go-to self-care ritual.
Lymphatic drainage body cream.
Okay. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. It has been a thing recently.
Okay.
I just love this cream. I'm like, yeah, it softens your skin.
Oh, okay. I'm down with that. Go to treat meal.
Meal. Okay. I just thought boba. I just love drinking my boba.
Oh,
Milk
like,
tea, boba.
okay. What do you like about it? No judgment.
I know. I know. I don't know. It's chewy. It's I don't know. I think it just reflects my heritage.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. And go to travel destination.
Singapore, surprisingly.
I love Singapore.
You do?
Yeah.
Because my sister and her beautiful nieces live there. So.
Okay.
And her
Okay.
husband.
Singapore gets a bad rap, but I
No,
love
I
it.
love Singapore.
Everyone's like, oh, I prefer Hong Kong because it's so edgy and whatever. But I prefer Singapore because it's clean.
It's so clean. Like family,
Yeah.
clean air.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really hot, but yeah, I love Singapore. I'm down with that one. Go to morning routine.
Breath work.
Mm.
But that's also a lie because recently I've been most consistent with my saffron rose tea.
Oh,
So I put
okay.
saffron,
Yeah.
which is a natural SSRI actually. So I've been doing that lately. And with rose and cinnamon tea because the taste, I don't know. I just think it tastes nicer.
Yeah.
Because saffron can taste quite pungent.
Yeah. I have to admit this. I've been asking these questions for a little while now that my my morning routine is so inconsistent. And I don't know what that says about me, but it's just inconsistent.
There are chapters.
Yeah.
I've actually done the 5-minute journal before for 2 years straight, every single morning.
Yeah.
And in 3 months, it changed my life. No kidding. I feel so much happier. And it's more like an autopilot thing where I feel great and you just manifest better things in life.
And that's the first thing you did when you woke up.
And I really want to get back to that routine.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a powerful shift.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
Go to recovery practice.
If it's recovery, it's massage. I just don't want to move. I just want massages all day long.
Do you have recommendations of where you go?
It is an in-house service one.
Okay.
Reasonably priced, so I can share you the contacts.
Okay, great. And do you like a foot massage? Is it oil massage?
Full body.
Got it.
Yeah, sports therapy massage.
Go to workout music.
Oh, anything melodic tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go to book.
Ooh, I'm not the kind of person that finish one book at a time. I just have many books laying around.
What is name?
I feel like I'm lying because I'm like cannot name one. So many books. I honestly have been reading less lately. I've been just learning a lot from podcasts.
Okay.
Or I read. It sounds so bad, but I read like Harvard Business Review.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Go to guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Pleasure. Chocolate fondue.
Oh.
Anything chocolatey. Chocolate cake. Dark chocolate. Molten cake. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And last one. Go to mantra or life motto.
Take care of yourself and the rest will follow. Yeah.
Love it. What's next for you?
Next for me is to really find a way to scale AbsFocus method. And with that said, I've been doing a lot more work of learning how to systemize stuff, and especially on the online space. So it would be more upcoming content-based, content on exercises.
Yeah.
Also sharing downloadables. And hopefully eventually I can start my own podcast because right now my hands are tied. Like it's more like where my party is and really focusing on launching that first.
Yeah.
So that I can focus on other things that help with the brand and then speak the brand's values even stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting. So where do people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's
Mhm.
called Jenny Beans.
Okay.
And then you can also see my YouTube videos on AbsFocus by Janice.
Mhm.
And yeah, you can see everything on my Instagram, actually. So
Exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Janice,
you.
for chatting with me today. I'm super excited to see where AbsFocus goes
Thank
and where you take it. Hopefully in, let's say, 5 years, you'll have your own space.
Okay. Great.
And
Deal.
I'll be the first one there
Okay.
to Google Plus.
So sweet of
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much, Janice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Move, Sweat, Discover. If you liked the episode,